You can start your talk now, ma'am.
A very good morning to everyone. A very good morning for each and everyone who is present here. Myself, I am Shilpa Sawant, an educational and the principal of Cambridge International School. I am an educator teaching training as well. So today I am going to talk on the primary teacher training. But before starting the talk, I would really thank you to the school reformer and Miss Pravina to give me this wonderful opportunity. So let us start with the primary teachers training. As we are into the primary teachers training, I have chosen that particular topic entire school because the students, you can say the attention span in pre-primary is only 1.5 to 2 minutes, whereas for the primary section, especially the lower primary section, it is somewhat 2.5 to 3 minutes, not only but approachable, scholar, a dramatic, an actress. So I always tell my teachers that but or Shah Rukh Khan, and you are having this audience and you give them a different kind of you can say the entertainment, but that also an educative entertainment. So now the thing is that about subject matter mastery. Now the thing is that teachers are all like they are all trained, they are all experienced, and they must be knowing the material well, especially of any subject. Like when we talk about the lower primary, sorry, for the first and the second standard, they are the homeroom teachers or the mother teachers, which we call them. So they have to teach all subjects, that is English, maths, and EVS. So they have to have that subject matter mastery, which is very important to make the classroom performance well. So it can be enhanced in that way. When I talk about the curriculum, we give them, if it is a CBSE, we give them an NCERT books, and we give them different kind of curriculum as per the school's culture. However, each and every teacher has to be their own curriculum developer, lesson developer, and have their own teaching methods. They don't have to be afraid to be creative because that is very important. How can, if you are not interested in that particular lesson or a chapter, then how do you expect the students to do that? So that is why it is very important first to know the pulse of that particular class, and then afterwards they will understand what the class requires. Because as per the Harvard multiple intelligence, each and every child is having their strong parts and the weak part, and that I mean about the intelligence part. So each and every child is gifted with a lot of intelligence, but some of them might be, you can say, a pictorial, a kinetic. Otherwise, some students might be like to draw. So the teacher has to understand in that way and develop her own curriculum. Now, vocal animation. This is very important because to catch the attention of a child, you have to be very much vocal and animate that. That means the voice, the volume has to have a proper pitch, proper quality, and see the voice modulation. Now, for example, if a teacher is narrating a story of a lion and a mouse, so when she is talking about the lion, otherwise the lion himself is talking. So the voice can be like this: "I am a lion." So the voice over there, and the mouse is there: "I am a mouse." So here, when the teacher, when she uses her voice in different ways, the child is definitely going to learn many things because of that. Physical animation. The teacher does not have to be stagnant in one position. She can go around and she can check, and she has to dramatize. She has to use her hands, her feet, if it is stamping or anything. It is just not like English. Even for EVS, when she's talking about plants, about flowers, let that expression come to her on her face. This is very, very important. So when she does that, the children are looking at her face and demonstrating and enjoying the lesson. I remember, like in second standard, I suppose, when I was a principal in a Mumbai school, we had a teacher, and he was just, you can say, only for 1 2 months he had joined as a teacher as a substitute, but he had an excellent way of teaching maths. When I observed him, he did not create any kind of different kind of teaching aids or anything like that, but he just placed one bench near the board, and he made two children sit under the bench and two children above the bench, and he was teaching them numerator and denominator. Such an excellent and a brilliant idea. I don't think that even the students till now, wherever, whichever profession they are, they must have forgotten this lesson, because I too remember it very well. Now, the next one which I want you all to know is the classroom space. The classroom space is very important. We have 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows over there. Why not change, break away? You know, even when the teacher is talking, why she has to be near the podium or to her desk or on the screen, on the near the blackboard or something like that, or she can just move around and she can just ask the children, okay, please turn your chairs towards the window because I want to teach you all in this way. So you have to break that rule. There shouldn't be any kind of stagnant position or any rule. Use the classroom space. When we talk about uh, a concert or something, when the dancers, we always tell the dancers to use the entire stage. So same with with the children, with the teacher. The teacher has to use the entire classroom so that the students feel more and more interested, and they really like it, because I myself have tried it. Now, this is a very, very important topic. It is humor. Teachers, I always tell you that use humor, show cartoons, talk about some kind of jokes. Otherwise, they can also talk about themselves. Because what I believe is when a child laughs, he learns. So adding humor is like, that salt in the lesson. Okay, the salt in that, the main ingredient, you can say, is humor. Of course, I do not expect each and every teacher to just laughing and gaggling around and just talking about some kind of a joke or something like that. But here also, I remember one teacher whom I had in a Mumbai school as well. He was an art teacher, a drawing teacher. He used to start his class with a joke and end his class with his joke. Now, as you know, that art period is hardly 1 or 2, periods in an entire week. But the students used to really wait for him. The students used to think that, okay, let our let our art teacher, come to the class and let us have an enjoyable. So, and on those particular days, which we have observed, that the students used to remain least absent because they used to enjoy that kind of class. Role playing, this is a very, very important topic because the teacher has to demonstrate many of the things. As I told you about the teacher, or the maths teacher teaching about the numerator and denominator, where he made the students, act as numerators and everything. But the same way, they can portray a particular character. And with this role playing, they can also build their vocabulary. See, when you are talking to a child and when the child is doing something a wonderful job, it is not good that only the teacher says, okay, very good or nice or it was great. I ask all the teachers, to use such kind of words because that is the time when they remember it. When the teacher says, Arya, that was fantabulous. When you say that, Arya just looks at you. She feels great. She knows that fantabulous is a wonderful word. But then that word is there in her mind forever because they are having a blank slate. And when you use such kind of words, that slate gets occupied with such kind of beautiful, wonderful words, which is important. The next one is using props. When we talked about the teacher has to use a lot of teaching aids. What does the teaching aids mean? Teaching aid does not just mean chart, flashcards, bringing some kind of pencils or some kind of objects, but it could be, if it is a geography class, of course, the globe is there, the maps are there, these are the props. There are different kind of props used, like for if the teacher is teaching geometry, she requires a geometry box. So that is a good, we can say, that is a very good exercise for the students to learn more. Then afterwards, the suspense and surprise. What is suspense and what is surprise here? I'm not talking about every time narrating or anything like that. However, when you talk about different, if it is a science example, and they show a picture. It is very, very monotonous, to show the picture of a scientist using that particular object or anything. Even if it is Edison about the bulb, about the electric bulb which he had invented. When you're showing that, maybe that the picture of an Edison has a glass just next to him. Ask the child, what do you think about that glass which is just next? So here you divert their attention, but inside the picture itself. Even like I have given an example here that now what is heavy about heavy water? Or why did Napoleon hold his hand inside the pocket? It can be anything. And you know what? It becomes like when you're teaching it slowly the momentum increases, and then there is a climax where the child understands that okay, there is something more, the teacher is teaching something more. So this is also very, very important. Preparation, this is very important. When a teacher, before entering the class, I suppose many of you all must have watched the movie Hichki of Rani Mukherjee, where she is having a disorder, a speech disorder, but she prepares herself in that way. She jokes about herself and she becomes the best teacher. So she has some kind of a disorder. However, she prepares herself in such a way that the children, they are so much interested in whatever the teacher is teaching that these kind of disorders do not at all exist in that particular lesson. There are some of the techniques used, like if you have to carry some props, some teaching aids, then you have to prepare in such a way that you know that this is my time, I have a half an hour class, and in that half an hour I can use 15 minutes of my teaching aids. And then the other 15 minutes I can utilize in having an interaction with the students, otherwise some kind of demonstration. Let the students use those teaching aids and explain back. So this is called preparation. When a teacher enters the class and she says, okay, today we are going to revise what we did yesterday. Here the child understands that the teacher is not at all prepared. The teacher is just doing time pass. So we don't want that. The teacher has to prepare herself before entering the class. Classroom management, as I had spoken earlier, it is very important to have, to manage some kind of uncomfortable situation. What does an uncomfortable situation mean? It can mean that the students are like, you're teaching a very, very important topic, and suddenly one child, he feels like puking, and he is, he has distracted the entire class. You call the maid, otherwise the school nurse, and the school nurse is taking care, and then your lesson is disrupted. So at that time, what you can use, you can say, okay, we understand that our friend Maria is not well. However, let us just go through whatever props I have kept, and if you want to ask some kind of questions, you can ask. So it is like that. That even if the class is distracted, you bring them back again. That is, that makes a brilliant teacher to make the students come back to the topic. Patience. The best teachers were those who were willing to keep explaining, knowing that eventually it would make sense. Sometimes what happens that there are 30 students in your class and 12 students really do not understand what you're teaching. You don't have to, uh, create an outburst for that, or saying that how can you not understand, or something. Patience is the art of waiting, because you know that your main motive is to make the students well aware and understand about it, and main thing that they know the main objective of that particular lesson. So that is why, my dear teachers, patience is the key to be the best teacher. Confidence, that is also important. The best teachers laugh off their mistakes if it is chalk breaking. I remember when I was teaching a topic on French Revolution, and I was writing the important points, and the chalk was breaking and it was squeaking, and the students were laughing for that. And I said, and I just turned back and I said, there's a revolution here. Because I was teaching the French Revolution. There is a chalk revolution here. And the students started laughing. I said, okay, coming back to the French Revolution now. So it was like that, otherwise, if you get flustered, otherwise you get, why are you laughing? What is wrong with you? I am teaching a very interesting topic. You don't have to be that, because you are, see, there are times, see, being a human being, we do also make mistakes. We struggle sometimes to go for a lesson, but the main thing is confidence. There are many of the times which I have observed some of the teachers who make mistakes, which I have realized, she has realized, but the students do not realize, only because of her confidence. That is important. Compassion for students. Teachers, the best teachers, have a sixth sense. They have a compassion. They love their topic. They love their lesson. They feel that each and every lesson should be interesting. It has to be that all students are equal. Should not be just following the textbook. Go out of your way and explain each and everything for the student, because the students are your medals, your certificates, your trophies. Once they accomplish their goals, when you meet them after several years, when you meet them maybe at the airport, when where you meet a student who is a cabin crew, that is your trophy, teachers. These awards, trophies, and medals which the organizations gives, they do not have that much value. How much the students are having it value. When the student is accomplishing, he has achieved something, and that is only because of your compassion for the students. Understanding. Good teachers have understanding. Understanding means what? There are some of the things where the students are, some of the students are extremely quiet. Some of the students are extremely hyper. I always tell my teachers that Teachers, when you enter the class, 1 minute, I require only 1 minute for you to observe the class. Maybe your extra hyper class is very much very quiet today. Maybe there is a fight just before you entered. Otherwise, the class is like, extremely hyper. Maybe there is some kind of, somebody has got an award, or the principal has declared that this class is the best class. So understanding, it is just not understanding the students talk, but understanding the students silence as well. Willingness to help the student achieve.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ms. Shilpa. Gentle reminder
Yes.
about the time, please. Thank
Yes. Okay, so we are having how many? 5 minutes, right?
you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now the thing is that the passion for life also. So teachers, there should be a passion of whatever subject. You have to have a good smile on your face. That is the best clothing, you can say. Determine your philosophy. Many classroom management plans begin with teachers' philosophy or teaching. The main thing it is there that instead of being a teacher-centric lesson, it has to be a student-centric lesson. When you're talking about the best teacher, I remember a very famous book, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Sparks. It was written in 1930s in Scotland, where Muriel Sparks had written about a teacher, where her students were standing apart from the other students because they were as Miss Brodie's work. So it was something different. So the teachers have to prepare themselves. They have to be compassionate. They have to write down all the specific points. They have to define the classroom rules. Like when you go to a restaurant, you get a menu card. So in the same way, if you have a menu card and you explain that starting of the lesson, starting of a class, that these are the do's and these are the don'ts. This is my menu card. So the classroom rules are very important for that. Even like explaining the consequences for breaking those rules. Okay, if this is not allowed, but if you break that rule, what is the consequence? That is also important because sometimes teachers that, punishments do not create that kind of impact as rewards do. So using technology, of course, because right now it is the need of the hour. We can use lot of PPTs and lot of AI tools which are important for teaching a lesson. Always be the control of the classroom. The remote control should be in your hand, not with the students. Stand out. Teachers, be vocal, be passionate. What you're teaching, a grin with those facial expressions. In that way, you stand out and become your best teacher. Brag a little, but not too much. Sometimes an history teacher can go on and on and on. Even after the bell rings and all, she has to know that, okay, where she has to stop. What are her boundaries? So that is also important. Pay attention to each and every child. Bring out the student opinions. Make a difference. That is also important. Tackling problems. Each child is different. This topic is so huge that, it goes on and on, like it creates a different impact in me as well. So when you're talking about pride also, take a pride of being a teacher. Be proud. Because in foreign countries, when I had recently been to New Zealand and where I was told at the airport, when I was at the security check, that time I just said that I'm an ordinary teacher. And they just said, okay, you're a teacher. And they respected me so much that I was allowed on the green way over there where I know they said that, okay, so you have to respect yourself. If you do not respect, then nobody else can. Love the subject you're teaching, teach the right way. That is important, whatever style which you have. It can be that you are an excellent singer. You can sing also some songs. concerned to that particular lesson. Otherwise, if you are a good, you can say, experimenter, you can have small experiments in the classes. Jump out of the box. I feel why there should be a box. If you are talking slowly and deliberately, a slow speaker and all, you have to speed up. You have to know, okay, you should be out of the box. The teacher has to uh, be a teacher. I always say that I'm very other will take you for granted. Out of the box, like some kind smile too much. You look like looking like a mad person or something like that. Occasionally, be stern where you be strict but be firm. Quizzes. How you are going to evaluate, how you are going to assess each teacher. Evaluations, the quizzes, the test also well in advance. So that is what it is about. Is definitely a wonderful and excellent profession because we have the teachers are the you can say the molders of future engineers, future doctors, future scientists, future artists. So the teacher is the best profession. So the teacher is the best molder, and with your end with my
Yeah, can you stop sharing the screen,
Miss
Michelle?
Ravina, are you there?
Yes, yes. Yes, if you stop. So,
Yes.
I've prepared some questions, ma'am, and I will ask you
Yes.
because of the time constraint, I might not ask you all the questions. A couple of questions I'll ask and we'll end the meeting. So, ma'am, the first question is, what inspired you to
Okay.
focus teacher training in your career?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. Actually, the teachers have been trained during their B.Ed days or their M.Ed days, and it is just long time ago. Like many teachers are there in the profession for maybe 10, 14, 18 years. But when you're talking about training, it is like upgrading themselves. There are so many different like technology which has come over, like especially during the COVID time. Actually, COVID time was the time when I focused more on teacher training, because when I realized that teachers were not that tech savvy, especially the elderly teachers. I really care for them. The elderly teachers had their glitches during giving any kind of Zoom lesson or otherwise a Google Classroom or something like that. And then eventually they had their 1 2 years of retirement. However, they voluntarily retired and they were just sitting in the house and just doing nothing when they were such knowledgeable people. So that has made me, that saddened me, because a teacher has to upgrade herself with the knowledge. And I have so much of experience, so I said, why not give my knowledge, share my knowledge to those teachers and focus on them. Even many of the schools, when we are having smart boards in the classes, how many teachers really know how to operate them? They have to take the help of a computer teacher or anything like that, and it becomes very difficult for them. So they have the knowledge, however, to impart that knowledge they require training, and that focused me to be into teachers training.
Great to know, ma'am. So can you share some examples of successful teacher training programs you have encountered?
Yes, definitely. Like, last year I had been to Nasik for one teachers training program. And of course, it was a new school, and I had to do, the induction, the orientation program with the parents and the teachers. And some of the teachers came to me and they said that, like, we couldn't, being a mother teacher or a homeroom teacher, we can't inculcate that kind of knowledge to the students. I said, what are your glitches? So they said that when we are explaining some kind of a lesson or something, we write the difficult words on the board and the meanings of that. I said, instead of that, why don't you do something like that? You just, create small envelopes, and give it to the students and give them, instead of writing everything on the board. Because now we have to understand that the chalk and the talk method is not sufficient. So when the teachers, they started giving those kind of small envelopes, the students were very, very happy to open those envelopes and to learn that. And the teacher said, please paste these kind of those small letters in the envelopes in your books, and that really helped. When we give a dictation to a child about the meaning, whatever the meaning is, like it is, if it is awesome, they do not know that awesome, it starts from A, it doesn't start from O. So when we're teaching phonics in the pre-primary, and when they come to the primary and they understand that there are some of the words which are not pronounced that way. So when the teachers came to me, and this was an excellent example of creating small envelopes with difficult words and easier meanings, and making them stick like sticky notes in their book, and this really helped because I got many of the can say the mails from many of the teachers and messages from the teachers that thank you so much for this kind. So to improve that vocabulary, that was a good idea, I feel.
Nice, ma'am. So what role does technology play in modern teaching training?
It plays a very important role because nowadays, even a small child, even if he doesn't know how to read or write, he knows how to operate a smartphone, which we do not know. Many of the times, like we have to take somebody's help for something. But
Right.
but the small children, it is like, it's a mystery how they can operate many things. So when a small child is knowing about technology, why not we elders? We have to match their standards. I'm not saying that the children have to match our standards, but we elders, we educators have to match their standards. When we show them a video or any kind of quizzes or games online, they understand more. But of course, it shouldn't be that the entire screen time should be for for teaching. But yes, technology definitely proves themselves, as we are about artificial intelligence, also about the robotics, about the coding. There are so many different institutions who are teaching such kind of things. So when the teacher, even if it is like an EVS talking about plants, there are so many plants which we do not find in our daily use. We cannot take them to a place, we cannot take them every time to a nursery or otherwise to some botanical garden. But when we show them everything in the classes, they understand it. So the technology definitely is an important tool in today's learning in the classes.
Yes. So, ma'am, as an experienced educator, so what do you think? What are some common pitfalls in teacher training that institutions should avoid?
Yes, what happens that being a principal, many of the times, especially in the month of the summer vacation, when the students are not there, but we admin staff, the principal, everybody is there, and when we like there are many vendors who come to meet us. It can be like so and so publication, and we are having our own trainers, and they will be training the teachers. So normally what happens, when we are taking publishers' books and all for our this, of course, most of the schools they use the NCRT, but for the primary sections, there are certain kind of workbooks and everything which we use, it, especially for EVS or social studies or something from different publications. And the publication that those vendors, they have like a sugar coated pill, and they when they come to you and they say that we will train the teachers on this and that and everything. And frankly speaking, I have attended such kind of trainings, and it is nothing worth like, just it is not a practical knowledge. Like when the teacher enters the class, she has to teach science. How is she going to teach when this particular publisher, he is only bounded to his own lesson, whatever is mentioned in that, those exercises, only that much, nothing else. And it becomes very difficult for the particular teacher to to have that kind of link, that okay, am I supposed to teach it this way or that way. So these vendors really make the teachers more confused. So I would request each and every school, like the authorities, the stakeholders, the main stakeholders of the school, to please check what kind of training programs the trainings are, these people have. There might be excellent trainers also. I do not deny on that. But what happens that when the trainers are not going into the practical knowledge, what they will tell you, okay, there are some icebreakers activity. Number one, they start with icebreaker activities. It can be that, okay, you have to have your when I say no, you have to bow your head like this, as if it is a yes. And when I say yes, it shouldn't be no, it is like no. I really do not understand what is the motive behind that. It is okay, that's following the instructions or anything, but do you think that a teacher requires this? These icebreaker games are actually good for corporate levels or for MNCs, but not for teachers. Teachers are like educators, where they need to understand, if it can be like how to make a lesson plan, a simple way, how to be presentable in the class. See, grooming. I have seen trainers grooming, saying that, okay, we are going to have a grooming session. Grooming session, once when I was working in a Delhi school, the trainer came and the trainer said that, as you know, in Delhi, there are many Punjabis and all. They have those dupattas and everything. But the trainer said, to look smart, you should have a dupatta just above, means it should be near your neck, not down. I mean, this is like, does a teacher become so smart by using this dupatta in any of this way? So this is not grooming. And for teachers, the trainers really have to think a lot, prepare a proper PPT. Like I would like to inform you, Ms. Pravina, that when I am taking a training session to the teachers, I not take them in this entire group. I do it day by day, like only maths teachers, one training session, only science teachers, only mother teachers, art and craft teachers, only the ICT teachers. Because see, you cannot, because each and every teacher is like a different species, which I say. Because I'm writing a book on teachers. Of course, it is a little bit humorous book on, because I am extremely interested in astrology, and like a Sagittarian teacher, how will she be in the school, especially in challenging environment or something like that. So it is with my experiences, which my teachers were 27, 30 years. So I'm writing such kind of, that. So uh, coming back to the topic about teachers training, the trainer has to really well understand that each teacher is different, each section is different, because a pre-primary teacher is like a pre-primary child, a primary teacher is like a primary child, and a high school teacher is like a high school child. So in the same ways, the parents as well. The parents also, they come in those specific age groups. So a trainer has to understand that each and every like a teacher, is different. So that's what.
Ma'am, thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions, and good luck for the release of your book. I really like the title.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. So it is, it will take 1 year, I suppose, because I have to do a lot of research for that. That is what, yes.
definitely
Yes.
it will be a fruitful thing. So that's all for the session now, ma'am, and I'll stop the recording and we'll end the session. Now, anything else you want to mention?
No, I really am very, very thankful for this wonderful platform for the school reformer and you, Miss Pravina. You were always helpful to me, for many years. I know you. Of course, I haven't met you. But
Yes.
thank you and do the great job, school reformer. Thumbs up to you.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks.
Yes.